Hey everyone, David C. Anderson here, coming at you from the Knife Center, and it is our favorite time of the week because there's new knives in front of me, the coolest, that have just hit our shelves. Let's check them out. All right, first up this week are some fixed blades, some new Demko knives, and the most affordable Demko branded knives you're going to be able to get your hands on right now. Starting with the more expensive of the two, it's the new Armiger series. We've got the Armiger 4, which I'll hold up one of the three blade shapes here to start out with. As you can see, very kind of boot knife inspired. We've got a 4 1/4 inch blade on these. This is the spear point profile. It is available with or without serrations. You've got a little hint of a sharpened edge on the back side. This knife is also available in a tanto with or without serrations, and we have a clip point option not available with serrations right now, just available in a plain edge. And all of these can be had in either the black or green handle. And the price on these are about $75. All right, some more specifics, shall we? I like the steel here, 80 CRV2. It's a low alloyed carbon steel, German-made steel. Very tough stuff, very cool or very well appreciated by a lot of blacksmiths, actual people doing, hammering on steel, not just doing stock removal stuff like this knife is here. But it's really nice and it really fits the mean character of these knives. I mean, especially that, double serrated spear point version, very mean indeed. The handles themselves are injection molded. There's a hint of that kind of rubbery feel to it, so you've got a lot of grip just in case things get wet or messy. You have a symmetrical guard front or top and bottom here. So you've got some finger guard protection and you've got something for your thumb to push off of as well in a high stakes scenario. If you want to use this as just a general utility, the guard on the back is such that it's not too obtrusive. You can still kind of get up over it, get utility stuff done, engage the knife in other grips without it, getting too much in the way. And it's soft, there's no sharp points or edges on there. That helps that as well. We've got a full length tang with a lanyard hole here at the back. As you can see, the tang protrudes a little bit there at the back side. Overall, it's just a pretty cool package. The sheath, I haven't talked about the sheath yet. There's definitely some value in what they're giving here. It has the same sheath system that we saw on their free rein knife. Really cool thing going on here. One, you can take it apart for easy cleaning because you've got this glass reinforced nylon structure around the outside that's unscrewable. The two halves of the center core come apart. Very easy to keep clean. And that center part is not glass reinforced material. It is injection molded, but the glass fiber that gives this corner or this edge piece its strength, it's actually harder than blade steel. Can actually dull blades if you run the edge along it. So to avoid the risk of that happening, this center section, softer than your knife blade. And then you've got the strength along the outside, plus the ability to take it apart, as I mentioned. You've got a drop loop here. It has a retention snap, just in case you want a little extra peace of mind, although it does click in. You don't get an audible click, but it does hold in pretty securely even without it. You've got the belt loop and you've got Velcro and snap closure here, which is gonna make it easy to take off when you want to, but it's not gonna come off unless you want it to. And the other thing you can do, of course, if you'd rather carry it like horizontal or with something like a tech lock, due to the hole and slot pattern on the sheath here, you're gonna be able to use a lot of aftermarket stuff, no problem. But it's really cool. I like that they gave us a smattering of different blade styles. You can suit these to a lot of different things. The dagger, spear point dagger, is definitely like tactical self-defense. You could use it for other stuff too, but it's pretty well skewed towards that. The tanto leans into that category as well, in addition to giving you that kind of heavy work vibe. You can do the chisel-y-like stuff with the front edge there. The clip point, you can also do your tactical-y stuff with this as well, but a little more versatile for usage as an outdoor knife, perhaps. Hunting, camping, that sort of thing. Now for the truly least expensive Demko you're going to be able to get your hands on these days, and probably for quite a while, is the Armiger 2. Here they are. Two blade profiles, style of the handle like the Armiger 4, but obviously scaled way down. I mean, this is a 2 to 2.5 finger grip depending on your hand size. $20 though for these bad boys. 2 blade shapes. You've got the clip point and the shark foot. Yeah, even though we don't have the shark lock on this knife, they're still calling this blade shape the shark lock. That's fine. I'll give it to you. Just under 2 inches on the blade length for both of these. You can get either one with or without serrations as well, I should mention. The steel is stainless in this case. It's not that 80 CR V2. We've got 4034 stainless. Basic stuff, acceptable I would say at this price range for sure. Just a small little keychain or neck utility knife. The sheath is over here. I've got a lot of sheaths over here because we've got a lot of fixed blades on the table today, folks. Here it is. I promise. There it is. Injection molded. This is a glass reinforced material right here. You don't get the dual system as the more expensive and more complicated knives. You can set it up with this little spring-loaded clip right here. You can clip it to a keychain. You could clip it to some other gear. You could even clip it to your belt loop, quite honestly, and let it drop into your pocket if you've got a belt loop right above your pocket, so that could be an option. Or, of course, you could take that off and you could use that center hole for net carry or spread it out with the 2 wider holes here for a little more stability. Like the larger knife, I didn't mention this though, it can go into the sheath either way too, so no pausing to have to think about which way is up, so to speak. And actually it works with either blade shape too, so they've kept things nice and consistent there. Just cool little utility knives. You're gonna open up some boxes. I don't see this being any sort of a tactical knife, despite its styling, let's be honest, but they're pretty cool. If you're wondering about the tang length here, I did run a magnet down and I'm getting pull all the way down. You don't get a protruding tang here at the back, but it looks like the tang does run the full length there for a little bit of extra strength, which is funny to think about on a little 2-inch knife, but hey, there you go.
You know the strength you can get.
There, yeah, that's the counterpoint. Every once in a while, he's got a good one. But yeah, check them out there. We got them on the site right now. Let's keep with some tactical stuff here for a little bit, some tactical feeling stuff. New SOG, a new Mikkel Wilhelmsen design. This is the Prohen XR. Price on this is about $70. For that, you've got a 3 3/8 of an inch long blade or thereabouts. A very distinctive Mikkel Wilhelmsen shape going back into the handle, of course, as well. Very, very instantly recognizable in my mind. D2 steel on this, flat ground about, yeah, we'll call that a saber height flat grind in this case, and G10 handles. Very deep carry pocket clip on them, as you can see, and it is reversible. Everything on this knife is equally lefty friendly. You've got that crossbar lock there. SOG calls theirs the XR lock. Allows you to do the finger safe, free floating action when you pull that lock bar back. Ball bearings in the pivot here to give it that kind of very, very free floating action in between. Apart from that, you've got a flipper tab as well as a blade cutout, so you can open it 3 different ways, or with 3 different implements or control points. That's the word. 3 different control points to open said blade. We've got some big heavy work duty vibes with this, in addition to, of course, the tactical aspect of it. Speaking of that, the downward canted handle means when you grip the knife, it brings the tip down. A little easier to bring it to bear on target if you need to use that tip for something. And a good deal of finger guard and finger protection right here. You've got a very generous guard and some space in between where your finger lets off and the start of the edge. So even if you were to slip forward past the guard, there's that little bit of buffer zone. If you want to be able to get a firmer or more choked up or controlled grip for the finer work, that space pulls double duty there. It's essentially a finger's width or a finger-sized space. Everyone's finger is different, of course, but hear me out. But you can definitely choke up right there, get a solid grip on it for power cuts, shall we say. Let's say that. Very cool little design right here. Little, that's not a little design at all, actually. Very cool design, in my opinion. Next up, we have a Fox tactical knife. I've actually got a bunch of Fox this week, and instead of grouping them all together, they're kind of scattered about the lineup today. But the first is the Predator II. This is part of their FKMD, their tactical line, Italian made. $122 and some change for this one. You got a 3.5-inch drop point with N690, mid-height flat grind, almost full-length swedge. It almost has like some Bob Terzola vibes, in my opinion, to it. Kind of a cool thing. Handle is actually injection molded right here, but you wouldn't guess it. It feels more substantial than that. That might be the full-length liners going on right here. Nice little bit of extra safety here. So we do have a liner lock, which, you know, everyone knows what a liner lock is, right? But pop the blade open. If you want extra safety, check out that red tab right here in front of my thumb. Slide that forward, and I'll show it here from the other side. It essentially slips a small piece of metal in between the liner and the handle of the knife, so you can't actually disengage that liner. Extra bit of peace of mind for those heavier use scenarios, not just tactical. I don't have a problem using a liner lock in a quote-unquote hard use scenario, you know, using it heavily. I wouldn't like baton with it, but some folks don't really like that, don't really consider a liner lock a super heavy-duty lock, and that's fine. This could be a little bit of reassurance for those sorts of folks right there. We've got a folded over clip, not quite deep carry. There's a little bit sticking out there, but not a ton. And we've got a hidden lanyard attachment point there at the back. Overall, just really nice. Obviously has a very tactical look, but like a lot of good, or like a lot of the tactical knives that I tend to gravitate to, the bones of it, you know, behind the black coat of paint, it's just a solid, usable knife blade. Check it out. You know, very, very versatile, almost generic drop point. And I don't say generic in a derogatory way. It ticks all those utilitarian boxes. I would take that camping in a heartbeat, actually. Very cool. Next up, we have a Jesper Vakne's design. New versions of the core have been released. $167 and some change with this Tonto blade shape. Black stone washed finish with a black injection molded handle on this one, but different colors and finishes are available in the core series. There's also a new drop point version with carbon fiber and L-Max. I don't have it on the table here in front of me, but that's also available. Price on this, $167 and some change. Very hand-filling grip. It's not a super long grip, so if you have really wide hands, you might not have all 4 fingers on it, but you should be able to hang off of it without feeling too cramped in any case. But the shape of it is very nice. It is contoured. You've got that subtle kind of honeycomb burst thing going on here, starting right there near the pocket clip area, and enough width to that it just feels very, very locked in my opinion. Definitely takes advantage of the grip strength of your last 2 fingers being able to really pull on that handle and keep it solid. Very, very cool. Blade thickness here is a little bit on the thicker side, maybe 5/32 of an inch right there. This is Italy, so they're probably using metric. What do we say it is? 0.16. So yeah, like 5/32 is like 0.1875. Or no, that's 3/16.
Numbers.
So it's more like 5/32, right? That's right. Okay. Micrometers aren't too uncalibrated today. Today. So a little bit stouter. You have a two-thirds height grind with flat geometry there. So a little bit slicey, but overall it has the feel of being a little chunkier for heavier cuts, more less fine control, more brute strength. Talking a few degrees of difference here, however. Deep carry pocket clip wire, nice and subtle. Inset liner lock there. We've got ball bearings in the pivot with action provided by the flipper tab or the thumb cutout, blade cutout, I should say, since I didn't use my thumb to open it right there. Yeah, same thing as some of the other core models, just with a cool new blade shape. Speaking of Jesper Vakne's, however, a new GiantMouse dropped earlier this week, and that brand, of course, is Vakne's is one half of that. The other half is Jens Anso, a couple of Danish knife makers teaming up. A new version of the Nazca. Comes in $265 for this, as opposed to the M390 version, which is a little less expensive. We have some upgrades here in the terms of 1, a carbon fiber handle, and 2, MagnaCut blade steel. Everybody's favorite nowadays, because, say it with me, folks in the audience, Not only is it stainless, not only does it hold an edge a long time, it also is very tough. It hits all three of those knife steel design pillars very highly, which is something that's near impossible to do with any other steel. So that's very, very cool. The blade itself is a little bit over 3 inches long. We've got a very acute piercing tip. Of course, anything with a tip that acute, a steel with a good amount of toughness is always a nice thing because it's going to be a little less prone to snapping off. Nice continuous belly to the edge, very distinctive blade shape too. Let's see, let's classify it. Let's have some fun, shall we? Clip point.
No.
What do you say it is?
What do you think I say it is?
What does the website say it is? The website says modified clip point. I'd get behind that. This is a very unusual one. It's this interesting hybrid between a lot of things. You've got a continuous belly there, but the tip itself and the edge right behind the tip reads more like modified Wharncliffe, at least in the way you would actually use it, the way it's going to behave when you're using the tip and cutting through things is a bit more Wharncliffe-y than a lot of things. But then the belly takes over there near the back. You've got this straight clip-pointed design, almost harpoon-like in quality, almost reverse tanto in style. But yeah, it's a little bit of a head-scratcher, but I get behind modified clip point. I think the website got it right this time. It's a cool blade shape. I think if it was scaled up a little bit more, this whole folder, it might even make a pretty cool food prep folding knife. Just my opinion, anyway. The carbon fiber on the handles is nice. The design itself has a little bit of contour to it, not just a flat slab. That goes a long way to making it feel pretty good. The interesting thing to me is the underside here. It has very defined kind of finger placement, but at the same time, it's not a restrictive design in terms of finger placement. Like if you're, don't quite fit within these boundaries, the transitions aren't like locking you in too much. So you get a cool little bit of style, you get a cool feeling of control over it, but you still maintain some versatility in the hand sizes that are gonna work with this knife. Nice, smart little design thing, I think. Wire pocket clip, not fully deep carry, but it is reversible. Everything on this knife is ambidextrous, just like the previous crossbar lock knife we looked at today. And the crossbar lock here is quite nice. Ball bearings in that pivot, I mean, it's just nice. Works really well. Let's see, this one itself is made by Bestech for GiantMouse. And as we've shown here on the channel a few times, they're doing a very good job with their Axis Lock competitor right here. So there you go, MagnaCut Nazca available now. How about a little bit more MagnaCut for today, Thomas?
Sure.
How about a lot of bit more MagnaCut on these knives right here. This is the Michael Zieba 9 flippers, available in 2 blade shapes. You've got the harpoon point and the dagger profile, single-edged, however, there's not a double-edged dagger. Titanium handles, MagnaCut blades, 4 1/8 inch long MagnaCut blades too. I mean, just a ton right there. They're black coated and you've got this engraved pattern on it suggesting like a stylized Hamon line. This is not a real Hamon, it's not Damascus, it's just a style thing there. And speaking of, man, the engraving on these titanium handles are so intricate, so interesting to look at, and just super nice. I mean, feathered wings here, a lot of symbolism going on here. I couldn't tell you the symbolism, what it actually means, but I know like Zieba is into that sort of thing. He really thinks out all of the markings that are going on all of his blades. So I bet you he's got a real cool story to tell on this knife. You've got the devil tail clip there on the back side. No visible pivot or screw from the outside, keeps it nice and clean. You've got the backspacer. I love his skull backspacers. Check out how cool that is too. It's a cool design. It's expensive. It's $675, but it takes my favorite Zieba design and just scales it up. That being the MS3 design, which you can also get in form of the MKM Flame for a more affordable take on this shape, just a bit smaller, but without all the cool engraving too. Yeah, man, just very, very cool. In a way, this is kind of a big, easy knife too, though. I mean, you've got 4 1/8 of an inch on that blade length, but it's so narrow that that's going to be able to fit a lot of people's loadout systems a lot more easily if you're buying this for utility concerns as opposed to just a collectible. Either way, super impressive. Next up, we got a bunch of X Series Peña Raptor XLs right now. This is the one that caught my eye the most out of all of the, the myriad titanium handle options and inlay choices. I really like this one. This one's coming in about 314 bucks. I think that's where all of them start. There's micarta options. There's some more expensive options with mokutai inlays if you want to go super fancy with it. But I just love this combination right here. Black PVD titanium, and we're calling it white micarta on the website, but to me it's like this bone linen texture. It's super, super nice. You get some of the little natural or random flecking in there that helps it seem like a little less man-made, a little more natural. I just dig it. It's super nice and a cool shape as well, not just a simple, okay, here's an outline, set inside. You've got a thought out shape going on. Contouring to the handle as well. Again, just a nice little touch, helps it feel more comfortable in the hand. Faux bolstered look due to the diagonal line right here. Hidden lanyard attachment point, frame lock on the back, milled titanium pocket clip. Folds up nice. I haven't talked about the blade yet at all. There it is. It is a 3¼ inch M390. Say it.
Make me.
Reverse Tonto blade shape. A little hint maybe of recurve on this as well. Is that just my eye fooling me? No, there's the barest hint of recurve on these knives too. Not so much at all that it's going to be hard to sharpen, but it adds a little something. Like there's this little hint of motion going on because of it. Let me know if you see what I'm seeing right there. That's really nice. I didn't even talk about the fact that this is a front flipper and I can front flip it. That's an impressive thing. And that's actually something that Peña gets right, I think, on his designs, at least for me. Like consistently, Peña's front flippers, or in this case, maybe a little bit more of a top flipper, I find very easy to use, which is harder to do sometimes these days. Some designs out there don't work so well for me, but I've never been the expertest front flipper anyway. That said, I like this a lot. That's all I can say about it. I like it a lot. I think that should tell you what you need to know. Next up, D-Rocket. We've got some OTFs. They're coming in about $285. There's a few different versions left with some aluminum construction, some aluminum and Ultim construction, and this one right here with, at least right now while we're filming this episode, full Ultim handle construction. As such, this is like nothing in your hand. It's like 1.4 ounces for this version. You're not even gonna know it's there until you need it. I mean, it is super, super easy to carry and looks pretty cool too. There's a little bit of a scoop out or like a dished effect towards, or on the front side there that kind of helps guide your finger for one thing. The fluting there helps as well. And it just gives a little bit of traction, a little bit of a control over the knife that a flat handle just has a little bit of a different feel than that, maybe slightly more controlled. Double-edged blade, just under 3 inches, M390 steel. So you've got actually close to, 5 3/4 to 6 inches of actual sharpened edge to work through, plus with M390, which lasts a good long time. You can get a lot of performance out of a knife like that. Single position, deep carry pocket clip folded over from the spine. Because this is double-edged and because you've got a cover-mounted switch, completely ambidextrous, works the same in either side with either hand without any adjustment. The action, as you can tell, quite good. Just very cool, right? Can't we all agree?
Okay.
Thank you, Thomas. The comment section will disagree, but that's what they do. But that's fine. We love them anyway. The next, another yellow knife. The Finch Stinger is here. $145 for these. I love the yellow bone on here. I mean, I love bone handles on the classic stuff. You don't always see bone handles on more modernly constructed styles of knives. Finch that's kind of what they do. Like they do that classic and modern blend so well, and they bring some of those classic materials into those knives. And I love it, I'm here for it. 154 cm blade, 3¼ inch long, definitely a modified Wharncliffe shape, I would say in this case. You've got a little bit of belly going on right there, but you've got that, you know, very acute Wharncliffe style thing going on. Horizontal grain, matching up with the horizontal grain on the integral bolsters on the front there. Nice classy look. Glow in the dark Finch shield on the bone there on the front. And of course, this is a flipper with ball bearings in the pivot, and it flippers quite flipping well. Can we get away with saying that?
Just did.
We just did. Milled pocket clip as well on these bad boys. The other handle option right now for this knife is an ebony wood as well. Actually, no kind of modern handle scale materials on this one, although it's not a scale, it's more of an onlay, but you know, we're gonna get away with that too, I think. Anyway, they feel super nice. Very acute profile going on, very utilitarian, very pokey, very useful. Just come on. That might be why they named it the Stinger.
I'd do it.
I'd do it. I like it. I like it, man. So many things to like this week. Next up, another new Fox, like I said. This is the multi-purpose 7-function pocket knife with natural deer horn handles. Do we say deer horn on the website? Deer don't have horn. I'm gonna have to have a talking to our product people.
Unless they have a drinking horn.
But that's not deer.
I want to see a deer with a drinking horn.
This is some animated stuff that we don't need to get into right now.
Safe search on.
Safe search on, oh my goodness. So anyway, this is a Fox knife. It is made in Italy, but I will say based on the way the implements look, this is just conjecture on my part, but I feel pretty safe in saying that these are made by Mercury for Fox. That's actually something that you would see all the time in the older days with, you know, the classic slip joint. You know, you might have a Camillus knife that was actually made by Schrade or vice versa. Like, you know, these guys kind of work together. Like, hey, we've got this product we need made. We don't have any factory, you know, machine time. Do you guys have some time in your schedule? Yeah, okay, great. It actually happened all the time. So it's not a new thing at all, but yeah, I mean, this is not a knock on the knife at all. I mean, the Mercury made stuff, it's the same ones who put together the recent Prometheus Design Works Swiss Army knife style multi-tools like this. They also do the Malga and Campo series for MKM. So it's really cool to see kind of more companies getting in on some of this stuff. Anyway, what are the tools we got here? Well, $151, and for that you're gonna get an M390 blade, flat ground, nice and thin, so very, very slicey. You've got the cap lifter with a screwdriver tip and the, I almost said bottle opener, can opener on the other side. I'll fold those in. The secondary blade on this, I'm actually not sure. We don't list it as a separate steel, so it's probably M390 as well. Interesting. And we've also got a nice wood saw there on the front. Backside, we've got an awl and a screwdriver. I'm getting all these names wrong today.
Does screw.
It screws corks. This is a corkscrew. And the cool thing about this, even if you think, oh, you know, corkscrew doesn't serve too much purpose nowadays, there are a few things you can do with it in sort of a camp outdoor setting, which this is very well suited to. One, you can untie really fastly stuck knots, especially paracord. That's real nice. And this helical pattern is actually the same as what you get on the Victorinox tools. So any of their accessories can fit on there as well. So they're little fire ant fire starters, little toothpick, or not toothpick, eyeglass screwdrivers, any of those sorts of things. Nice little holder for those extra implements. Now, as for carrying this, you can just slip it in your pocket like normal. It does come with a leather thong right there, but it also comes with a belt sheath, as you can see right here. Slip the knife into it thusly, and it has a belt loop, so you can carry it with no flap over the top. Just don't go hanging upside down, huh? And it'll probably stay in there. I mean, don't go hanging upside down anyway. That sounds unpleasant. Next up, we've got a Buck limited edition 110, and this isn't new, but somehow I missed it when it was new. So it's now time to talk about it. $325 for this. It is a 2023 edition only, as you can see right there. Drop point blade as opposed to the traditional scooped clip point. Very distinct thing right there. It's not the first time they've done a drop point on a Buck 110, but it's not something they do very often. And we've got S45 VN steel, 3 1/4 inch length on it as well. The handles are also pretty neat in that we've got brown rich light, or kind of a brown and black layered rich light going on, or lighter brown and darker brown, something like that. It might not be exactly black, but you can see the color striations going on right there. Really cool. Gives you a lot of grip. I'm actually, if I were going to use this, I might knock off the corners of the top here just a little bit, but it's a really cool look. No rear bolster, just the forward bolster on this. Very sweet. Does come with a belt sheath as well. Typical carry, typical style for the Buck belt sheaths. A little bit softer leather, like almost a suede feel on this, as opposed to the more kind of burnished stuff that you see on the lower end models. There you go. Check it out. If you want one, like I said, this is a 2023 model, so whatever they make, it's only going to be made this year. How about some more fixed blades? Yes, please. The ESEE Sencillo, first production, this one here. I can't guarantee everyone that comes on the site right now will be a first production run, but this one right here is in any case. This is $165 made in the USA. We've got A2 tool steel on this. First time they've used this particular alloy. Very tough stuff, holds an edge a good long while, not a stainless steel, however. Cool to see them branching out a little more. Like, we've started to see them take some small steps towards doing that. They've got some S35 VN knives in the lineup now, not just the 1095 carbon across everything like they have traditionally done. 1095 is still good, don't get me wrong, but it's not exciting, shall we say. Fair?
Sure.
Fair. A2, however, a little more exciting perhaps. I like A2 in any case. The handles, very nice. Got a brown burlap micarta, ridged milling pattern going on it. You know, egg-like shape that is going to fit any hand size imaginable. Like, even if you've only got like 3 fingers on it because your hands are that big, it's still gonna be a usable handle. The blade itself, drop point, nice and thin with that tall, flat, that full flat grind. This thing is going to make a great little slicer. Probably hunting is the first and foremost thing I think about this knife when I look at it. It's got enough belly to do that sort of thing. It's got the geometry to be very efficient, moving through hide, moving through flesh, that sort of thing. Just really cool. You could, of course, use this as a small camping knife, a backup, or a hiking knife even. You don't have any kind of finger protection here. The edge does come all the way through, so just watch out for that as you're using it. Just, oh man, it feels really good, and it looks really good too, in my opinion. Sheath gets down here, and it is Kydex. Again, also a little bit of a departure from a lot of the lineup. Most of their click-in sheaths are injection molded as opposed to Kydex. Most, not all. Nice wide Kydex belt loop here on the back. Plenty of height to accommodate pretty wide or pretty tall belts, and a bit of a J-hook clip going on under there. So you can slide it in or onto a belt, inside a waistband even, and you've got a little bit there to keep it from popping out too prematurely, shall we say. Next up, the Boker Bronco. The knife itself, not strictly new, but a new price point is available on this knife. They've gotten the price down from the like $207 that it is still available for. Now you can get it for about $156 and some change, and the main difference is no fire steel is included. So if you don't need that extra fire steel, you can save a pretty good chunk of change by not buying that version. 4.5 inch blade, 3V blade steel, saber height flat grind going on. Very, very kind of aimed in sort of like right in between some Benchmade competitors is where I see this as being aimed, like the Puko and the Liuku in the Benchmade lineup, smaller and bigger than the Bronco kind of splitting the difference. Very interesting. Very useful blade shape going on. It is crisped up here, so if you want to use the spine to strike a fire steel or rough up some tinder material from bark or anything like that, it's going to work real well. But as you can see, there's a transition there where in front of that you get the crisp spine. Behind that, not as crisp, so it's a little more comfortable if you're pushing your thumb behind a cut. We've got a full-length tang. It is protruding at the back. I bet you that's crisp enough to strike a fire steel there as well. Injection molded, over-molded handles with an awesome shape. Very, very comfortable to hold. Very lightweight for its size. I mean, what are we dealing with here? About 5.2 ounces. Lot of length, or plenty of length on that blade without being too bulky. That's going to give you some agility, and it's just going to mean you're going to want to carry it more, which is nice. Here is the sheath. The sheath still does come with a fire steel loop, so a lot of people already have a collection of fire steels that might be buying a knife like this, so that'll fit that. You've got a standard belt loop and a drop or a dangler as well. That is equipped with a snap if you want to make it a little easier to get on and off. So you can carry it through either one of those. You can fold that out of the way if you want to carry it through the top and don't want to remove that extra piece. Kind of nice to keep things all together sometimes, but options are also nice. Next up, two more foxes to talk about. The first is the European Hunter with about a 5-inch Sandvik 12C27 blade and stacked leather handles. Handle itself, very vintage, very classic feeling. The blade itself feels a little bit more modern in its shape, so it's a kind of a cool blend. You could say it's a almost a slightly modernized version of some of like the German hunting knives, like the Pumas, that sort of thing. Maybe I'm seeing a little bit of that anyway. Really cool blade shape. I think pretty cool, pretty decent package too. Price on it comes in about 99 bucks. The handle itself is nice and comfortable. In contrast to some of the older, classic stacked leather hunters that have been out there, sometimes with my slightly larger than average hands, they can be a little too small for me. Not the case with this one though. As you can see, I've got just enough space there. It doesn't feel cramped at all either. It just feels actually just about perfect for my my hand in particular, which is a rare occurrence, quite honestly. No rear guard to get in the way, so you can get up there, choke up for bushcrafting and camping type uses. A little bit of guard at the front though for protection. Geometry, it's about just about 1/8 of an inch thick right there. Full flat grind on it. It's going to be a really cool slicer. Very comfortable cap there on the back too. I mean, just pretty cool. I dig the vibes. Sheath is leather, traditional styled for something like this, or at least what I think of as traditionally styled. Simple pocket there at the front, snap loop for retention, belt loop for your belt. There you go. That's what I'd use it through there anyway. Next up, one more fox and two more fixed blades to talk about. This is the Tokala. I love the lines of this one. I'm a happy guy. There's a lot of cool fixed blades on the table this week. 224 bucks and some change for this. You got a 4.5 inch Nylox blade steel right here. That's a cool choice. But 4.5 inches on the length, black stone washed finish, about a 3/16 of an inch thick. Actually, maybe a skosh even thicker, but not a full 1/4 inch in any case. As you can see, they kind of polished or sanded the spine here too. Gives it a cool look, and they're able to. One of the things you can do, or they could do because of that, is the fitment. Even though these are bolt-on scales, I think they've bolted them on and then come in and finished the edges of the spine perfectly. So there's no gap, there's no hot spots right there, and because they're going to sand it here, it'd be weird if the spine up here was still having that black stone washed finish. So I appreciate that attention to detail right there. Handle itself feels good. It's got like we're calling it bison micarta, which is interesting. It's got kind of that burlap texture though. It's not rough, it's nice and smooth. Flat handle scales here. I would have maybe expected a little bit of swell, but despite that, it actually still feels really comfy in my hands. And slightly larger than average hands have just enough space on this handle too. I dig it. You've got 2 lanyard points there at the back, so you can use it, in typical lanyard style fashion, or it makes it easier to do some lashing type stuff, which is that, stereotypical survival knife spear usage, which may or may not be of dubious utility. That's a conversation for another day. But this hits a lot of the things I like in a quote-unquote survival knife. You've got some finger guard right there. You've got enough length and enough strength that it is, you don't have to worry about babying a knife like this, but it's not so big that you're not going to want to carry it. Like, you'll probably have it with you when you need it, which of course is pretty key. Speaking of carrying it with you, here is the sheath. It is set up for horizontal carry right out of the box. You've got, it goes in that way, you've got a retention strap there, and interestingly, you can switch this thing up. If you'd rather carry it vertically, you will probably need to bring something like a tech lock to the table. Let's check the hole patterns to see. It looks a skosh off, but you could probably make a large tech lock work on that if you'd rather carry it not horizontal. It's really well made though, very nice. I dig it. Shall we look at one more fixed blade?
We have to.
We're gonna. We don't have to, I guess they could close the window.
Oh, this is the last one.
Don't close the window. Acta Verba P200. New versions of these with injection molded handles. I like these too. I like a lot of fixed blades, you guys. $135 for this. Injection molded handles as opposed to the G10 versions that we've had before. Actually still have. Those are more expensive. What you get with this package right here is another lightweight fixed blade. This would be a great hiking knife, great lightweight hunter. For the super ultralight folks, I know they're always looking to shave every fraction of an ounce. This is still a 4-ounce knife, 6.7 with the sheath, but you get so much capability in this knife for that 4-ounce weight. You have a nimble feel. The injection molding there keeps that weight down and still gives you a very complex and very comfortable handle. I mean, look at the shape going on right there. More comfortable than the G10 versions of the P200 we've had so far. Those have come with G10 scales, but they're just flat. This is even better. Sleipner steel blade, 4-inch and 5-inch versions can be had right now. The 5-inch, of course, is gonna be a little bit more expensive. Not super thick, maybe 3/32 of an inch or thereabouts. Full flat grind, so not only does that give you a nice slicey profile, but the blade stock is lighter to start with, and the full flat removes a good chunk of weight from the front as well. You've even got a bit of a swedge. It is an awesome package right here at a very good price. Very good price. Comes with a length of paracord here with, what's that, a box knot? Something there at the back. Easily removable if you don't want it, because they don't even tie it to the lanyard loop. They have simply threaded it through and through itself. So very easy to take on and off as you desire. And the sheath is very capable right out of the box. Kydex comes with 2 Molly style straps right here. Makes it easy to attach to your gear. Also works right out of the box as belt loops if you prefer that. And I haven't checked the hole spacing on this, but let's see if it'll work with ye olde tech lock. Yeah, perfect hole spacing for a standard tech lock. So a lot of different stuff is going to be able to work for other attachment methods. Super nice package. I love the design. I love the materials choices for this version. I love the price for it as well. Check it out. All right, that's all we've got for today. Thanks for sticking around, and thanks for letting me talk about fixed blades at you guys.
They didn't have a choice.
It's exciting. Let me know what you thought of the knives down there in the comments. If you want to get your hands on any of these, there will be links in the description of this video that will take you to KnifeCenter.com. And of course, don't forget about our long-running Knife Rewards program. When you buy one of these knives today, you can earn money back towards a future knife. 5% if you save your points up for the highest tier. If you buy double points items, actually even more. I'm David C. Anderson from the Knife Center. That's Thomas behind the camera. We're signing off. See you next time.